I really don't like my face. Hi, I'm Crystal, and I don't know if this noodle system thing is going to work out. Um, I'm conflicted, guys. I'm really conflicted. And I'm not trying to be, so I'm not trying to be melodramatic about it either. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm so conflicted. I mean, really. I just tapped into my inner Kathy. I don't even know if I have an inner Kathy. What the heck is going on with me? I don't know. There's been a narrative that I've been saying for a long time that Kathy was just a mask. Kathy was just a robot. Kathy was just the person that fronted for me when I didn't want to deal with my shit. And I didn't want anybody else to know that I had shit. So I presented myself as Kathy. Of course, keeping my name, she just pretended to be Crystal for me. And I do feel like she was a false representation of myself because that's exactly what I used her for. I didn't want anybody to know the truth about me. And what was the truth? Well, the truth was that I was very much conflicted inside. I had different parts of me that disagreed with each other. I had different things that went on in my childhood that I just couldn't understand or come to terms with or align with unless I purposely forced myself to align with them. Basically, I had to purposely force myself to be Kathy for other people. But I could tap into any one of my other parts to line up with whatever situation I was in. Now, that didn't happen very smoothly at all. It was very difficult to switch and force a switch and all that stuff. But does that mean I have d.i.d? Well, of course I didn't think so. I mean, everything I researched about d.i.d, it didn't seem to match. Still doesn't seem to match. But I retired Kathy. We were floundering. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to cope. The only thing that made sense with our whole identity crisis was, well, it's probably not d.i.d, but you know what? Let's just pretend it is for a second. And I do remember making that video with Kathy. We made that video with Kathy, and it felt really good to have a solution on how I could use the d.i.d altar thing as a source of healing to tap into each one of my noodles and figure out who they are and what they're all about. But the further we went down into the rabbit hole, the more we realized that we were not going to get very far if we didn't treat them like they were real. I knew, that they needed to be real in our minds, in our mind's eye, in our hearts, in our soul. Otherwise, we would deny them again and again and again as unwanted thoughts, as unwanted parts. We needed them to be real. Even if they weren't real, even if they were synthetic, we needed to raise them up from the ground and build them. We needed to build them. Not because they didn't have their own starting seed. Each of them had their own starting seed on where they came from, but and why they're there and what they did for us and what they were. Yeah, so bullshit, Kathy. That's what I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you bullshit. I did not make this up to avoid a divorce. I'm going to call bullshit on that. That's just your opinion. I do remember calling it a synthetic form of healing, a synthetic form of d.i.d for the purpose of healing. I remember saying that. But I also remember feeling that this feels so legit that if I continue thinking that it's synthetic, they won't feel validated. The noodles won't have a chance to grow. Just like if you had let's just say you had a robot baby. And if you don't care for that robot baby, even if it is fake, you're not going to get a baby that is loved and nourished like a real baby. You have to treat it like it's real. Otherwise, it'll always know that it's not important. It'll always know that it's not what you really wanted. Maybe I can, instead of saying robot, let's call it adoption. That probably strikes a nerve home more so than anything, right? If you take two children home from the hospital, one is your biological child and one is an adopted child, and you treat the adopted child very different than your own biological child, right? They will grow up feeling the distinct difference between validating yourself and not validating the other. Validating your own kind, but not validating this different kind. So we needed to get on the same level as all of the other noodles and recognize that we are a complete system. We are all one. I am not in charge of all of them at all. I am one of many of them. And if we can please use the d.i.d synthetic as an actual way to heal, yes, let's do it. Is there really anything wrong with that? Maybe. And here's why I say maybe. Because you're putting yourself out there on YouTube and Instagram. You're meeting people. You're talking to people. You really want this to be something. I get that. You really want your source of healing to matter somewhere. You want validation anywhere. Whether it be monetary gain, or whether it be acknowledgement, or whether it be acceptance, love, support, friendships, whatever. I know that's what you want. I guess I'm Kathy right now. But at what cost are you going to do it? Are you going to really stop being honest with yourself about it? And I think that's why we're having this conversation, is because we recognize that we are one. Every single noodle inside of us is one person, and Kathy is part of the one person. And I don't mean to use Kathy as a scapegoat for me being fake and phony to people. But if I wanted to basically, yeah, that's what people use altars for. They use it as a way to escape. So if I want to use Kathy as my excuse on why I denied my truth to people, it's because I put on the Kathy mask. Okay? A lot of people put on masks. A lot of people lie about themselves. It doesn't make them d.i.d. It doesn't make them crazy. It doesn't make them something. It just means that they don't want to share who they truly are with people. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't know who I am. And I know that that's why we dived into the noodles. We wanted to know who we were, and we wanted to allow who we are to be who we are. And we also wanted others to validate who we are. And that's why we had to have everybody be real. But I feel ya. I feel your tug, Kathy. I feel your tug. You're tugging me to abandon the noodles. I feel it. I don't want to abandon the noodles because we need to heal this trauma underneath. Even if the noodles are just part of me and not these separate identities. We agree they're not. Everybody agrees they're not. Even people who have these separate identities need to believe at some point that that's really all just them. It's all parts of them. And I know that. I'm smart enough to know that. But I can't afford to think that way right now. I need to go a little crazy. I need to go a little unstable and separate us out so that we can heal us separately. It's just too crowded to bring us all together and try to heal us all together. I like the concept of pulling us apart, and maybe there's webbing in between us that still keeps us connected in some small form, but not as condensed as a bowl of noodles, all crazy and stuff. It's pulling everybody apart, and it's looking at them and examining one by one. It is our due diligence to do that for ourselves. For my brain. I need to do it for my brain. Is that as honest for you as possible? I am doing this for me and my healing. Whether it be a synthetic, whether it be real, whether it be what you think is silly, yes, I'll be honest about it. I'm doing this to help me, and I'm going to keep going down this road. And if I don't, I fear on what's going to happen if I don't. Why? Because, yeah, I do live in fear. I live in fear that I'm going to have to make decisions based on facts that are not necessarily facts. Most of it's based on my trauma response. I can't leave my husband knowing that I may have left him for the wrong reasons. I have to know that I am a healed person all the way. Not just one yellow noodle, but all the way. And if I can make decisions on my own 2 feet, when I'm comfortable, when I'm ready. And I'm not ready. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting ready to get ready. This is so flippin' long. All right. So anyways, I think we're just going to tie this up into one pretty bow of a video. I've got the first video was Kathy talking to Crystal, and then the next video after that was the video to the aunt. See, aunt. I call her aunt. And then the next video after that is me talking to Kathy. But if you really want to just look at it, it's me talking to everybody. And it's also me talking to myself. This could be both. It can live on 2 different platforms of reality. And that's okay. It's not meant to be single dimension. It's meant to be a multi-dimensional universe. And that is what we are experiencing. We're experiencing this reality in a multi-diverse way. And you can too. You can experience it that way also. And I don't even know who we're going to show this to, because I don't think anybody in the world will understand what we just said. It's like quantum physics for the mind. I don't even know if there's such a thing. I feel like we are the Einsteins of it. We're the Einsteins of borderline, that nobody would ever take us seriously until we're old and gray and our hair's sticking out, and now we've solved the riddle of relativity, and then we die. And then we're forever immortalized, and yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But I would be really interested to know if my theories ever hold traction one day where I think I can cure borderline. I really think this is a cure. This synthetic way of digging around and getting my noodles out and treating them like they're real is like a synthetic borderline. But you can't talk to them like they're synthetic. You have to talk to them like they're real. And if you don't, and if you believe they're synthetic, or if you know they're synthetic, and you don't ignore that knowing, you really could damage your whole process. If you tell your adopted child that they're not worthy of being real, you tell your robotic adopted child that they're not a real human, they will not act like a real human. They will act like a robot. They will act like they were forgotten, because they were forgotten and ignored and neglected and betrayed. I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. I feel like I'm going crazy. Can you see the 2 different dyads in me that's like so confident, and the other one's like, what the heck are you talking about? Just shut up already. All right, we need to get to bed. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.